uncomfortable to sit cross-legged, then you can put a folded up blanket or even just like a jumper just underneath the very back of your buttock. So you're kind of just slightly leaning against it. And what it does is it tilts your pelvis forwards and helps you sit up with a straight back without having to put too much effort into it. These muscles can actually relax a bit. I find that's the best way to sit up straight. But you can find your own way, whatever works for you. And we're going to take a few rounds of breath, just breathing out really loudly through the mouth. So find your hands on your knees or on your lap. Close your eyes. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. As loudly as you like. You can even stick your tongue out and do the lion's breath. And in the next minute or so, choose your breath. Your breath may naturally relax and quieten. You may feel that you need to keep kind of purging out stale breath from the body and keep being loud. So whatever works for you. Find your breath naturally slowing and settling. Take the first few moments to notice your breath. Stepping out of a thinking mind, stepping out of the mind that had to switch on this morning and turn on the computer, log into the computer, start accessing all those logical parts of your brain, and turn into the part of your brain that feels, or the part of your body that feels. And feel your breath moving through your body. Just notice the sensation of the breath. Remind yourself there's no right or wrong way to do this practice. Whatever you feel is unique to you. And it is simply the act of feeling or observing that we're working on today. The act of connecting with the person or the energy that observes the activity of your body, rather than all the activity of the body itself. I'm going to do this exercise for a few more moments, just feeling. And if you find that your mind is particularly active, then you can practice counting your breath if that helps to quieten the mind for a moment. Okay, and then we're going to do a few rounds of alternate nostril breathing. So start with your right hand in front of you, your fourth finger and your thumb together, and your first two fingers together. Rest the first two fingers in the center of the forehead, the thumb halfway down the right side of the nose, finger halfway down the left. Take a big breath in through both nostrils. Exhale completely. Then close the right nostril by pressing the thumb against the side of the nose and inhale through the left. Close the left nostril, exhale through the right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Keep moving through that cycle. Inhale left. moving through that cycle, just inhaling through the same nostril that you just exhaled from. Take one more round. The next time you breathe out through your left nostril, then you can pause and relax your hands to your knees. Eyes closed for a couple more moments. Feeling again into those sensations. And perhaps noticing whether you feel a little bit more present or balanced. And then slowly open the eyes. Okay, we're going to start to move. We're going to come forward into a child's pose. This is quite handy to use the blanket. So if you have any discomfort in your knees or your hips, you can put a folded up blanket or even a pillow in between your sit bones and your ankles. And then sort of find that extension through the back body. And if this pose still feels uncomfortable for you, then put a blanket underneath your knees and maybe try just finding your own variation, perhaps with your sit bones lifted quite high. Have a play around. Props are key to supporting us. Once you found your own shape, then let the forehead come to rest on the ground. And take a few long breaths in and out through the nose. From this extended position, we're going to walk the hands over to the right, reaching really far forward with your left arm, and then coming to bow your forehead down. Then come up, move across. Same thing over to the left, reaching forwards with the right hand, bowing the forehead down. Breathing into that space that you're creating down the right side of your body. And then slowly walk back to center. And this time roll up onto your hands and knees. Again, keep that prop underneath your knees if your knees feel uncomfortable. Take a few slow cat-cow stretches. Inhale to tilt the sit bones. Lift the chin slowly. Breathe into the front of your body. Exhale, round the back. Arch the back, drop the head. Breathe everything out. So this is your own practice, particularly this movement. If you want to move in other shapes, if you want to add in more depth, if you want to kind of wriggle and roll around, take this time to feel your way into this shape. This is one of the best poses for moving with your spine, warming up your spine, and also deepening your breath. You create space for the inhale as you arch the back, lengthen through the throat and the chest. And you deepen your exhale as you squeeze and contract through the lower belly. Good. Other nice little additions that I like to use here is to exhale and bend one elbow and then look over the opposite shoulder, twisting the spine. Good. And then after your next full breath, you're going to come back to a neutral spine position. Inhale to slowly lift your right fingers up to the ceiling. So it's quite a strong stretch through your chest and your armpit. Reach up tall. And as you exhale, thread the right arm underneath the left. I'll do it the opposite way around. So your left hand comes down to the floor, left shoulder. Sorry, right hand, right shoulder. And then right cheek. Hips lifted. You might want to keep pressing down with your left palm. Maybe you want to reach that left palm up. This is quite strong, so move slow. You might want to reach overhead, stretch your fingers to the front of the mat. Or come across the back of the body. Some people can even comfortably rest those fingers on their right thigh. Again, it's your own practice, so find your shape that works for you. And then we're going to slowly unravel ourselves. So lift up, press down through that left palm. Reach your right fingers up to the sky. Take one more stretch. And then lower down. And then the opposite side. Inhale, left fingers up to the ceiling. Exhale, thread left under right. Play around with that right hand. Maybe you're going to lift it up overhead, maybe across the back of the body. Good. And then we're going to slowly unwind. Inhale to unwind and stretch up. Exhale, lower down. Okay. Now we're going to curl the toes under. Walk the hands a little bit further forward and a little bit wider apart. Breathe in. Exhale to slowly lift. Slowly rising up into your downward facing dog. So this is not going to be your deepest expression of this pose. This is just your first time of the day that you're coming into it. So start nice and slow. Start with a good bend in the knees. And if you have a quick look at the camera, you can see when I bend my knees, I can really slope the spine. So there's no rounding at all in the back. It's all nice, slopey spine. Good. Maybe playing around by rolling a little bit or bending and straightening the legs. Take a couple more breaths here, taking any movements that feel nice. And then lower yourself down and back into a child's pose. So come all the way down to the mat. Maybe you're going to sink your hips towards your heels, or maybe sort of hold yourself in your own variation of this shape. Forehead on the floor, big breath in through the nose. Big breath out. One more inhale. Rock yourself slowly forwards. Exhale, curl the toes under. Last version of that downward facing dog. Maybe noticing that there is a little bit more space in this second one. A little bit more length in the backs of the legs. A little bit more space up the spine. Okay, and then we're going to look forward, bend the knees. Try and set the right foot up behind the right hand. Left foot up behind the left hand. And either you're going to sink your hips to your heels in a squat position, or you're going to come straight back to sit down on your mat. So your choice. If you're in a squat position, then you can practice bending, pressing the elbows against the insides of your knees. Keep your chest tall. Good. Keep lifting the chest forward, lengthening the back. Okay, then we'll do a little bit of core. So reach forwards for those of you in the squat position. With control, lower down into a boat pose. It's got a pole behind me, that's why I'm doing it quite weirdly. Hold here for 3 breaths. Last breath in. And exhale, we'll sit up nice and tall. Inhale, everybody all together, reach up to the ceiling. Exhale, open over to the left. One big open movement through the right side of the body. Inhale, lift again. Same thing, exhale to the opposite side. Good, inhale up. Exhale across. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale, stretch. Exhale to twist. So this left hand will place on the right knee. Right hand comes behind you and turn over your right shoulder. Take a few breaths here. Relax your shoulders. Try and turn the face and the eyes to the back of the room. Then unwind and reach up. Breathe in. Exhale, same thing. Left hand on the floor behind you, right hand on the knee. And remind yourself this is the very beginning of your twisting for today. So it's not going to be your deepest variation of the pose. It's just the body opening and warming up. And last time, inhale, stretch up to the ceiling. Exhale, finally bring the palms forwards. Maybe forearms down. Maybe for those of you that feel flexible, forehead down. Doesn't matter how deep you come. It's about your own limits. Couple of breaths in the fold, lengthening a little bit through the back of the neck if you can. If you can soften through the back of the head and even let the head fall down. And slowly lift, roll all the way up. Just sit, nice. Okay. Last gentle stretch. Start to notice how there might be more sensation through your spine now. There might be more sensation through the shoulders and the neck. We're just going to start turning the nose in a small circle. Doesn't matter which direction. Drawing a teacup with the nose And then increasing the size of that circle to a plate. And then growing all the way out to the largest possible circle that you can draw. And the next time you get to the 12 o'clock of that circle, you're going to change directions, starting big and working small. Until eventually those circles come all the way down. Your nose rests in the center of your face. Your nose is always resting in the center of your face, but now the whole of your face is centered. Okay. Come back onto your hands and knees. Curl the toes under. Find that downward facing dog shape. Speed it up a little bit. So as always, follow your own practice. If anything feels too much, then take a break. Look forward between the hands. Start to walk the feet to the front of the mat. Maybe you can even press the heels down as you do that. Hang here for a moment. This is where a book is a really nice support for anyone who's feeling tight through the backs of the legs or through the middle or lower back. You can rest a bit of weight against that block. Otherwise, you can bring more weight into the shoulders by holding onto the elbows. Maybe swaying the upper body. Cross the arms the other way if you have the arms crossed. And then all together, what we're going to try and do is either have your hands on a block and walk it about 2 foot length distance away from your body. So it's a bit of a stretch. Or if you're comfortable enough, then you can bring your fingertips straight to the floor. And all we're going to do is half lift the spine. Reach the crown of the head forward, lengthen through the back of the neck, draw the shoulders away from your ears, keep the knees soft. You're going to feel this strong pull through just above the knees and just below the buttocks of the hamstrings. Try and slightly arch the back so you're really lengthening and opening the spine. Good. A couple of breaths here. So the spine is as straight as it can be. The crown of the head is reaching up and forward. Like you could balance a dinner tray on your back. Okay, and then we'll release. Relax the head down. Bend the knees. Roll the spine up piece by piece. Finally roll all the way up to stand tall. And roll the shoulders away from the ears. Nice. Okay. Come to stand at the front of your mat. I'm just standing at the back so that you can see me. Stand at the front of your mat, feet slightly apart, shoulders relaxed. Breathe in and stretch up nice and tall. And if you want to feel more energized, then look up to your fingers, open your throat. Exhale, fold forwards, dive the chest down, fingertips come to the floor or to your shins. Inhale to half lift the spine again, draw the crown of the head forward. And exhale, bend the knees, plant the palms and step back into a plank position. Okay, so we all have our own variation of this shape. Either you're like me with your shoulders above your wrists and your hips lifted, or you're going to have your knees on the floor, shoulders still above the wrists, body in a straight line. Hold for one more breath wherever you are. Exhale, everybody lower the knees, lift the toes. Try and lower down, squeezing the arms into the sides of the body. Straighten the legs, squeeze the legs together. We're going to start to lift the chest, Shalabhasana. Draw the shoulders together, lift the hands away from the mat, squeeze the buttocks. Use that core strength to lift you. Breathe in one more time. As you exhale, release, curl the toes under and make your way back into downward facing dog. If you want to be strong, then move through a reverse press up.
Couple of deep breaths here, breathing out through the mouth whenever you need. One more inhale. Exhale, look forward, bend the knees, step or lightly hop the feet together. Inhale, half lift the spine. Exhale, bow down. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the ceiling, stretching up tall. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift the spine. Exhale, step back into your plank. Hold for 2 breaths, either with the hips lifted or the knees on the floor. One more breath in, back of the neck is long. Exhale, everybody lower down to the floor, either in a straight line or drop to the knees first. Squeeze the legs together, lengthen the legs. Keep breathing as you interlace the hands behind you. Inhale, lift the chest away from the floor, maybe lift the legs at the same time. Keep breathing as you lift, squeezing through the lower back, the glutes and the thighs. Keep breathing. One more breath in, lift up even higher if you can. Exhale, release, press the palms down, make your way back into your downward facing dog. Check up with those fingertips and those knuckle joints, make sure the fingers are spread wide. The fingertips, the knuckles and the base of the palms are pressing into the mat evenly. One more breath in. Exhale, look forward, bend the knees, step or float to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift, straight spine. Exhale, bow down. Keep the knees soft and the neck long. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, down. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step back. Inhale, hold. Exhale, lower. Okay, take a moment here because we're going to have an option to come deeper into that pose. So choose the variation you want to take. You can start with our base variation that we started with, just lifting the shoulders. You can interlace the hands behind you and reach up. Or you can bend your knees, take hold of your shins. This requires a bit of a back bend. So if you're feeling still a bit sleepy, then don't worry about taking this final option. And if you are comfortable, then kick the heels back, lift the chest, breathe into the front of the body, a little bit of wheel pose. Sorry, a bit of bow pose. One more breath. Exhale, release. When you're ready, come back into your downward facing dog. And for anyone who wants to, then you can take a couple of breaths here in your child's pose. Take the next 2 or 3 breaths either in child's pose or in downward facing dog. One more breath in. Exhale, look forward, bend the knees, step or hop the feet together. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. And exhale, palms down. Take a couple of breaths here. Get your steady breath back. Keep that length in your spine. Okay, and then keeping those feet slightly separate, we're going to bend the knees and sweep the arms up into the chair pose. So there's lots of different ways of doing chair pose. And in this school of practice, what we do is we keep the knees separate. We really focus on tracking the toes and the knees in line. So you don't accidentally sort of knock the knees together and lose stability in your knee joints. So imagine while you're here that you're both pressing the knees together and away from each other. So you're really
emphasizing the use of these supportive muscles around your knees. Good. One more breath in. And as you exhale, we'll fold all the way down. Straighten the legs, hang the head low. Inhale, half lift the spine. And exhale, step back. Inhale, hold. Either drop to the knees or hold straight in your plank pose. Exhale, lower yourself down to the floor. Okay, I'm going to take a few back bends here. We're going to start off with a baby cobra pose. Inhale, just draw the chest and the head away from the floor. Keep the tops of the toes pressing into the mat. Lift the palms away from the floor. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, press the palms into the mat. Lift up a little bit higher, using the strength in your back to support you as well. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift into your deepest possible back bend. You're going to rise up and take a couple of breaths here. And just notice if you're crunching your head back, I want you to lift it up tall. If you're rounding your shoulders to your ears, I want you to bend your elbows and hold the weight of your body in your arms. And then we'll slowly lower down. We're going to repeat the same sequence one more time. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift the hands away from the floor. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, lower. Last round. Inhale, lift into your deepest back bend. Exhale, lower. Make your way back into downward facing dog. From here, we're going to lift the right foot off the floor. Breathe in and stretch the right foot up nice and high. And as you exhale, we're going to start to bring the knee forwards until finally you place the foot in between your hands and you lower your left knee down. So you might have to shuffle to get the foot up there. That's okay. Left knee on the floor, right foot underneath your knee. Keep your left palm flat to the mat. If your left knee is uncomfortable, then put a blanket underneath it or a jumper. Stretch really far forwards with your right hand, leaning far forwards like somebody was pulling you. And then slowly rotate into a twist. Open the chest, turn the head up. Finally reach back, stretch, open the chest, and lower all the way down. Good, we're going to breathe as we move through that circle. So inhale, reach forwards and twist. Exhale, reach back, follow your fingers with your gaze and come down. So keep moving through that cycle and just note that if it feels really uncomfortable for the hips, what you can do is put that book or that support underneath your left hand so it lifts your chest a little bit. So the pressure isn't all coming through the hip joints. You can carry a bit of weight in your upper hand. Okay, one more round all together. Inhale, forwards and up. Exhale, back and down. And then we're going to inhale to lift and exhale, hold here. Some people like to rest their hand on the knee and open the chest a bit deeper. Some people like to open that right foot all the way out to the edge of the mat. We're going to play around with this pose. So find a bit of softness here. Your right hand can come to rest down on the knee, or even rest on the floor on the inside of your right foot. This is your lizard pose. Again, if you feel tight in the hips, then take a block underneath your hands. And if you don't quite know what I'm describing, then just try using the block and see if you can feel the difference. So you should feel a lot of pressure coming through your left groin and the left hip flexor, the muscles across the front of the left thigh. Stay here for 3 more breaths. Good. And then we're all slowly going to unpick ourselves. So move any props out of the way.
Make sure the right foot is inside your right hand. Curl your left toes under and step all the way back. Lift the hips. Take a bit of a stretch and a wiggle. And then to the other side. Inhale, left leg lift. Exhale, bring that foot forwards. Maybe shuffle it up there. Maybe step it up there, so that eventually you're resting with your right knee on the floor and your left foot on the floor. Either with your right hand on the mat or your right hand on a support. And we'll start those circles. So inhale, reach forward with the left hand. Exhale, twist. Move all the way back as you breathe out, and then lower down. Inhale. Exhale back. Try and follow the fingers with your gaze, so you're moving through the neck as well as the spine, the rest of the spine. Okay, the next time you lift all the way up, you're going to hold here and start to find your shape in your deeper hip opener. Whatever that looks like for you. Maybe opening the left foot further out to the edge of the mat and lowering your hands down. Good pose. Maybe resting your forearms on the floor or on a block. Looks different for everyone, so just experiment. The feeling is through the right hip flexor and the whole of the groin area. Last 2 deep breaths here. And then we'll come down to the palms and curl the back toe under and see if you can step back into your downward facing dog and then shuffle or wiggle or stretch or do whatever feels nice here. Okay, this is our last few breaths in downward facing dog. So take any last movements that feel nice. And then you're going to look through your hands and you can hop your feet between your hands or you can step your feet forwards and slowly come to sit. And we're going to rise up into a boat pose. So this will look different for each of us. If you feel like you need a bit of support, you can hold onto the backs of the thighs, draw the chest up and have that support for your back. If you feel comfortable here, then you can reach your arms out, but keep that straightness in your spine. Try to avoid rounding. You're going to hold nice and straight in the spine. And if you feel really comfortable here, then you can straighten the legs and do the same thing, holding the spine straight, holding the legs straight. Hold here, whatever shape you choose, for 2 more breaths. On your next exhale, you can release and have a breath. Maybe you want to hug your knees. Maybe you want to rest your forehead on your knees. Okay, we're going to do it twice more. We're going to do 5 breaths in each hold of boat pose, Navasana. And you have the option to choose extra variations as we go. I'm going to switch around. So, find yourself in your boat pose. Now, if you were practicing just with the hands extended out last time, then practice maybe straightening one leg for 2 breaths and then the other leg for 2 breaths. Count yourself through 4 more breaths. Keeping that spine straight, like you could draw a V shape with your legs and your back. And after those 4 breaths, you can rest. Round the back, relax the spine. Breathe it out. Okay, then the last round. Meet me here in your boat pose. And if you want to try something that's even stronger than the last ones, what we're going to do is dip back so the body is extended, eyes and feet in line, and then lift. We'll exhale as we dip back. Inhale as we lift. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. Hold here if you are holding here. And slowly lower all the way down till you're lying on your back. And everybody meet me lying on your spine. Woo. Okay. Knees bent, feet on the floor, hands down by your side. We're going to start just with a simple bridge pose. So lifting the hips as high as you can, either pressing down through the feet or interlacing the hands and rolling your upper arms under your shoulders to give you that extra rise in the chest. Hold here for 2 more breaths. And slowly roll down, have a breath. For the next round, you can either do that same pose, that bridge pose, or you can take a deeper back bend in a fish pose. So either move into your bridge pose and count through 5 breaths, or place your hands underneath your buttocks. Roughly your wrists come underneath your bum. Straighten the legs, bend the elbows, lift the chest, and then just lower the top of the head to the floor behind you. Press down through those palms, breathe into the front of the body. Be gentle with your neck. Want to make it stronger? You can lift the legs and hold the legs lifted. Five breaths in total. And when you're done, you lift the head off the floor, lower the back of the head down, and then roll your arms out from beneath. Whew. Okay. We're gonna hug the knees in and roll just forwards and backwards to come up to a straight spine. Good, our final 2 postures before we move into Shavasana. I'm gonna take one last twist and then a forward fold. For the twist, extend the legs forwards. Take your right knee over your left. We'll just work with this variation for today. Right hand behind you, directly on the floor. It actually helps you straighten your spine a bit, that movement. Inhale, reach up with the left. Exhale, twist, using that nice strong core of yours. Then you can hold onto this thigh and draw it into your chest, squeezing it into your belly a little bit and turning to look over your right shoulder. And then we're going to slowly turn to face forward. Hugging that knee for a moment. Feeling all the movement through your spine and through the muscles around your spine. And then we're going to swap sides. So bring that left knee over the right. Bring the left hand on the floor behind you. Inhale, reach up with the left. Exhale, use your core. Try and use your body's own strength to do most of the work for you. And that way you can make sure that you don't come too deeply into a pose that might damage the spine. Close the eyes and look into the back of the space behind you.
Slowly unwind, face forwards for a moment, eyes open or closed. Feel the body sort of pinging back into the center line. And then we're moving into our final forward fold. We'll try Paschimottanasana, legs extended forwards, spine tall. Breathe in, stretch up. Breathe out, draw yourself forwards like I was in front of you, pulling your fingers forwards. And then you're going to lower your hands to rest, maybe on your shins, maybe on your toes. If the thighs feel really strained, then bend your knees. You can play around with bending your knees as much as you like. Maybe bending your knees enough to bring your belly onto your thighs. And then finally let the head soften down. And perhaps focus on drawing a little bit of length through the backs of the knees if they are bent. Last couple of breaths. Allowing the body and the mind to start to turn inwards. That's the energetic impact of forward folds. They make us slow down and turn inwards. They activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for rest, for healing, for digestion, for restoration. And then when you're ready, you're going to slowly roll up. And make your way all the way down to lie in your Shavasana pose, your relaxation pose. Grab any jumpers or socks or layers. And take time to find the best shape for you today. Take a moment to notice what your body might need. Maybe knees together, maybe feet together, knees wide, maybe legs wide, maybe hands on the belly or the chest. If you're feeling a little bit introverted today, it's quite nice to feel that self-touch, that sense of support. We can soothe ourselves very often. Find your shape. Just make sure that the spine is long, so the back of the neck is long. And take a big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Take as many more of those deep and audible breaths as you need. Until you feel that you've breathed out any last points of effort or active thought. And all that remains is this completely still being, almost like an empty vessel, free of thoughts or plans or obligations. All of those can wait for at least a few minutes. And allow yourself only to experience surrender. The surrender of your body sinking into the floor beneath you. Now, with your eyes still closed, start to become aware of sounds and activities around you. Maybe even become aware of smells or tastes. And then you can start to feel your way back into the body, maybe with movement, maybe with a deeper breath. Maybe rolling the joints of the wrists and the ankles, or just opening the body with a long stretch. And meet me when you're ready up in a seated position. Resting with your hands in your lap or on your knees, with your spine tall and your eyes closed. And keep deepening that breath in and out through the nose. And as you deepen that breath, sense a heat starting to build in your chest. So your eyes are closed, your awareness is in your chest, and imagine it's a completely empty cavity. And in the center of that space is a small flame. And every time that you breathe in, you draw energy into that flame, and it grows to form a fire that fills and energizes the whole of your chest cavity. Maybe even sense the temperature of that increasing fire. And as it exhales, you can watch that energy diminish back to this core energy that rests in the center of your spine, in the center of your chest. We're energizing and cultivating the energy of our heart chakra, the energy of compassion, love, self-love. And finally, bring your palms together. Rest your thumbs against that point in the center of your chest. Bow your forehead towards your fingertips. Take a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for anything that you're grateful for this morning. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I will see you guys soon, maybe on Wednesday morning if you guys want to join in again.
Thanks, Ellie.